And Lincoln County Sheriff's deputies arrested a man after a welfare check turned into a shootout. According to the Sheriff's Office, deputies were called to a house in Alto, just outside of Ruidoso, to check on a man identified as Charles Strong. Deputies called out for him, and as they attempted to open a side door, Strong allegedly fired 2 shots at deputies from an air rifle. Deputies say they managed to subdue Strong using gas and non-lethal ammunition. Strong is now facing charges of aggravated assault and resisting arrest. Police in Albuquerque are investigating a suspicious death in the southeast part of the city. Officers finding an adult man dead inside of a car near Catherine and Georgia with an apparent gunshot wound. Investigators say the circumstances are still unclear and more information will be released as it becomes available. Well, a number of people near the Albuquerque Museum experiencing a power outage today. This is what we know so far. That power was out sometime late this afternoon, but it does seem to be back up and running. PNM tells KUAT that they are currently looking into what could have happened. We'll update you at KUAT.com once we hear more. The New Mexico Activities Association is considering a major change to its transfer rules, which could allow student athletes one free transfer without losing varsity eligibility. This proposal has many coaches worried that it could change the landscape of high school sports, while others are excited about the idea.
I think it's going to be really hard initially for middle of the road programs and the lowly programs, right? I think kids in particular are gonna want to go where programs have been successful.
I've heard other coaches talk about, the chance for like a super team and those types of things that you've seen in the NBA.
Some have raised concerns over the effects on education and closed-door recruiting, but the NMAA says there are policies in place to prevent that.
There are some significant consequences if recruitment or undue influence takes place. For example, if a coach is found to be recruiting kids to a specific program, that school will be fined up to $5,000.
Right now, 160 member schools are voting on the bylaw. Those results are expected to be revealed by tomorrow. If this is approved, the rule will be introduced for the upcoming season. Well, from now until July 4th, our partner News Radio KKOB is highlighting up to 250 New Mexicans who make a difference. Today, we're looking at Steve Sauceda. He is dedicated to education and workforce development, helping students find pathways to meaningful careers through New Mexico Junior College. His work has expanded career readiness programs and partnerships, and he's best known for his collaborative leadership, which creates opportunities that strengthen New Mexico's workforce. Thanks for all you do, Steve. Well, take a look at your screen here at Isotopes Park. Families taking to the field for Father Catch Day. It's a chance for dads and kids to throw the ball right around where the pros play on the field there. For some families, the annual event is more than just baseball. It's all about happy tradition.
We get to come out here on the field, and it's one of the games that we never miss every year. This park is beautiful, the team is beautiful, and it's awesome that there's not a lot of parks that actually do this.
And beautiful children there as well. Beyond his own family, Justin says Father Catch Day reflects something bigger, the sense of connection that keeps Albuquerque families coming back year after year and making special memories that'll last a lifetime. After the break, Vice President J.D. Vance says the peace deal is making progress in the war with Iran, the latest on the end to the war. Plus,
dude, I ain't getting bit by that, bro.
Shocking new body cam footage released of police shooting a dog. The moments that led up to the tragic scene next.
Home and business safety starts with Windsor Door Sales and Security. Protect your home with steel mesh screens and rolling security shutters. Call Windsor today.
You're watching KOAT Action 7 News.
Vice President J.D. Vance joining U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner in Switzerland. This is for a new round of talks with Iran. Those conversations coming as Iran announces it is closing the Strait of Hormuz. But President Trump reportedly telling Fox News he threatened Iranian officials overnight. Here's ABC's Tom Sufi-Burridge with the details and reaction from Iran.
Vice President Vance says great progress was being made in today's US-Iran talks, and President Trump wants to transform the United States' relationship with the Iranian people.
If they are willing to give up nuclear weapons ambitions for the long term, then the United States is willing to fundamentally transform our relationship with that country. That is certainly our goal.
Vance also sought to downplay the Israeli-Hezbollah fighting in Lebanon, which is putting the agreement between the US and Iran at risk. The fighting in southern Lebanon escalating, Iran announcing on Saturday that it has shut the Strait of Hormuz, citing the strikes and the blatant breach and violation of the United States of the first clause of the ceasefire agreement, which calls for fighting to end on all fronts. US Central Command says 55 merchant ships and 17 million barrels of oil traveled through the critical waterway on Saturday.
Flows of oil and natural gas through the straits have already returned to normal, and they will continue that way, whatever happens with the negotiations with the Iranians.
But it remains unclear if the strait is open. But Iran's state media says the delegation left the negotiating site after President Trump posted on Truth Social that unless Iran stops Hezbollah from, quote, causing trouble, the US would hit Iran very hard again, just like we did last week, only harder. Iran's negotiating team is still at the hotel, their top negotiator warning the US against making threats, vowing Iran's armed forces are ready to respond. The Memorandum of Understanding, signed Wednesday, terminates oil sanctions on Iran and outlines a 60-day timeline to discuss Iran's nuclear program. Iran's Fars agency is also reporting that a draft on temporary exemption from those sanctions has been finalized. Tom Sufi-Burridge, ABC News, Lucerne.
Gas prices up again today after the negotiations entered a new phase. Looking at those averages, the national average is at $3.93. New Mexico seeing an average at about $3.91, and Catron County is seeing the highest averages at $4.54. Well, we are now seeing the moments leading up to a dog being shot and killed in what should have been a celebratory time for the owner. We do want to warn you, the footage you're about to see may be disturbing for some. It all started with a 911 call of a neighbor concerned for a woman in her apartment complex. 2 officers are knocking on the door when a woman can be seen in the video. A dog then starts barking. Officers asking the woman to put the dog away. She tells officers the dog is not aggressive. Then, moments later, as the woman turns away, the dog exits the apartment. This is what happens next.
There is no doubt that dog came out the door and rushed towards him. He obviously interpreted like he was going to get bit or attacked by the dog. An everyday trained officer with that amount of experience take the same deadly force action. And that's what the investigation is going to show.
Officials in California are calling that body camera video disturbing and tragic. Authorities are now ordering a review of LAPD's policies and training related to dog encounters and the use of lethal force. That shooting is now under investigation. On Friday, the Mora County Sheriff's Office rescued a hiker who had ventured off trail and wasn't able to return. Police headed to the Serpent Lake trailhead near Taos. According to the Sheriff's Office, the 911 caller told police where the hiker's approximate location was, and through the help of a helicopter crew, first responders were able to locate the lost hiker. Just yesterday, KOAT reported 2 other missing hikers. The Bureau of Reclamation is increasing its water release from the Navajo Dam starting tomorrow morning. Flow levels will go from 600 to 750 cubic feet per second. Officials say this change is aimed at maintaining target river flows through critical habitat for endangered fish along the San Juan River. Will impact heat and fire danger. Byron shows us when we might see some much needed rain in your KOAT 7 weather forecast.
Yeah, we desperately need that moisture. Look at the month of June for the rainfall so far, and we have only picked up 0.05 of an inch of rainfall for the month of June here in Albuquerque. Our average to date is 2,800, so we are below average. And of course, we are in the monsoon season. 1 weekend, 7 days, got 100 days to go, so you got a lot of time. But so far, 1/100th of an inch of rainfall during the month of June, the last 15 days of June. We typically, on average, have 3,800s, and you see the normal for an entire monsoon season is 4.48 inches of rainfall for Albuquerque, which is more than 50% of our average annual precipitation. So that's how important monsoon season is. More impact heat this week. Stay hydrated. Don't leave pets or kids in the cars. And monsoon moisture could return mid to late week. We'll keep an eye on that. Heat advisories tomorrow across southern New Mexico, Carlsbad, Hobbs, into Las Cruces, TRC, Lordsburg, Deming. Please avoid leaving the pets or kids in the cars. And of course, stay hydrated and try to limit your time outside during the hot times of day. And we also have that heat advisory Tuesday across southern areas of the state. I think Albuquerque will get added to that on Tuesday with temperatures right around 100 by then. 88 now in Albuquerque, so a really warm night out there. 73 in Santa Fe, 79 in Farmington, 84 in Lordsburg, looking at 86 in Roswell. Gusty winds beginning to kick into areas around Clayton. We do have a front that's sweeping into the northeast, and that's bringing a little bit higher humidity there. That will set the stage for a chance of some thunderstorms for late tonight into tomorrow, but only a slight chance of that. It's also going to kick in some canyon winds as we head toward the morning hours. You see in Albuquerque, those canyon winds east at about 20 to maybe 25 miles per hour briefly. They'll calm down as we head to the afternoon. It's still a very hot day for Albuquerque for tomorrow. So you can see the wind forecast as we head through tonight into tomorrow. That wind will sweep through the eastern part of the state. We'll have that canyon wind in Albuquerque in the morning hours. And then as we go into the afternoon tomorrow, we're not looking at a lot of wind out there, but enough wind north and western parts of the state that will have elevated fire threats. And also, yes, a new fire weather warning for Cortez, Durango, and southwest Colorado. So please avoid anything that could spark a fire. Checking out the forecast as we head through the day on your Monday. We're looking at those temperatures that will be hot once again. That front will bring slightly less hot air across the northeast, but just by a few degrees. It's not that significant. And again, a slight chance of a storm in the far northeast, but better chances across the state line. You see that chance could bring a low-end threat of a severe storm tomorrow and again as we head into Tuesday across the east, but these are very low chances of storms. Tuesday impact weather for much of New Mexico, 100 in Albuquerque, 106 in Roswell, 107 in Carlsbad, and 105 in TRC. So that rainfall forecast for the next 5 days through Friday looking pretty limited at best, favoring the far northeastern part of the state. Farmington, the Four Corners, Durango, Chinle, Gallup, Grants. We got hot weather the next several days. A few more clouds, a spot shower storm possible Thursday, Friday, but only a very low chance. 103, a common number, Socorro into Deming, also 105 in TRC tomorrow. Looking at the heat for Silver City, near 100 Tuesday and Wednesday. Boy, it's going to be tough out there. Again, Ruidoso, 92, triple digits for Alamogordo into Roswell, Carlsbad, and Hobbs. And you got the impact weather both Tuesday and again into the upcoming weekend. Also a slight chance of a storm. We'll hope for that for Thursday. Into the northeast, that storm chance mainly east of the I-25 corridor, Raton Pass, maybe get a storm, but better chance on Thursday it looks like. And for Taos, 90 tomorrow, 98 in Espanola. Santa Fe, you're up to 90 tomorrow, 93 on Tuesday. We'll hope for that storm's chance on Thursday with temps back into the 80s. And look at that, 98 Rio Rancho, 100 the Valley, Albuquerque 97 tomorrow. We bump it up to 100 for Tuesday for an impact weather day. Our normal high is 92. And notice those temperatures trim back Thursday, Friday with that low chance of a storm, but hot and windy for the upcoming weekend. Stay cool out there. It's going to be hot.
Hot, hot, hot. I hear ya. Well, next in sports, New Mexico United looking to grab 3 crucial points against Sacramento Republic FC. Highlights on how they did just that after the break.